weiß Bescheid. Entiendo.
Welcome to the most forward-thinking, inspirational podcast on the planet. Prepare to reevaluate everything you've been taught.
They can tell us we're crazy, and we can say, well, you haven't seen anything yet. Everything you knew was a goddamn lie. Would you up and explode like it's the 4th of July? Possessed by perfection in this land, if you're awake, you're the enemy. Where they lead, you will follow. Well, I guess that's just the way it goes. And if you look away, you'll be doing what they say. And if you look alive, you'll be singled out and tried. Every day a new deception. Pick the scene and take direction. And on a search to connect. But I don't wear a mask and I have no regret. Down on your knees, you don't look so tall. Open your eyes and the empire falls.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. Today is June 7th. It's a sad day. Today's the day that we lost the Iron Sheik. And if you haven't seen his biography, A&E did a biography on him. This man led one hell of a life. And I'm not here to boast and promote celebrity or anything like that. Just the kid went through the ringer. He was the bodyguard to one of the leaders in Iran, or the leader in Iran. He got chased out of his country. He was an Olympic athlete. He was a sports entertainer. He was a massive drug addict. Almost ruined his life numerous times. He was a recovery guy. He overcame adversity at literally every turn. And then in his later years, the guy mastered social media. His stuff is hilarious. If you haven't gone through and sort of if you're a wrestling fan, for example, obviously if you're not a wrestling fan, it's not really that funny. It doesn't even make much sense. It just comes across as rude. But he's good. His message was sound. It was funny. It was entertaining. This man entertained his whole life. And that's just free content. He just kept putting it out, He was the guy, man. He was 81 years old, and he ran that gimmick. He ran the Iron Sheik gimmick for decades. 40, 50 years. That's such a cool thing. I don't know. As a content creator and as somebody who's sort of, doing his best to contribute something to the world, it's amazing that a man can be loved for 50 years. For being an asshole, for being the villain. It's good. Gonna keep it short today. I just kind of wanted to touch base. And again, I don't normally do this with regards to current events, but I'm being personally affected by the smoke now billowing out of the 21 fires at last count, and that was like yesterday, so it may be more now, burning throughout Northern Ontario into Quebec. There are so many things that I see clips, and you can look them up. I mean, if you're on the TikTok, you're seeing them. It's so suspicious. So suspicious that all of a sudden we have all these fires. And this, to me, is the beginning of this is the very beginning. Do you guys remember during COVID when I can't remember the basketball player's name, but he ran in and he rubbed all the microphones? He just rubbed them all. He's like, screw your COVID bullshit. And then they shut it all down. This feels like that. Again, these fires. It just seems so peculiar. And then what happens, towards the end of COVID, it was almost inevitable that they were going to do lockdowns again. And since COVID, they've talked about 15-minute cities and how they want to have people do this, that, and the other thing. And the benefits, the pros and cons, and how everybody in the media is like, 15-minute cities. This is what we're doing. And if you go outside of your district, you have to pay or have a fine. You guys remember that Justin Timberlake movie, Out of Time, I think it was called, where you only had a certain amount of time and it was like embedded in your wrist. And then when you died, you died. Like when that time ran out, you died. That's a 15-minute city, man. That's what it feels like. That feels like this is like the beginning of that mess. And it's all now, we had talked about this through COVID. It was like climate change is going to be the next lockdown, the next scare, the next thing. We're going to have climate change restrictions. But climate change mathematically isn't really an issue. I mean, it is to people who don't want to do any research and just want to watch the news. Oh my God, we're all in so much trouble. Global warming. Global cooling. Remember the Ice Age? We were all going to be under ice not too long ago. The 60s and 70s. And then the ozone layer, we were all screwed. And then oil, we were going to be out of oil. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. These talking heads, the broadcast networks. How do you cast a broad spell? Well, you get something that people can stare at, and then you talk at them through it. It's a broad casting of a net. What is it? Well, it's telling a vision. We want you to believe our vision. So it's a broad cast, casting broadly across the world, telling a vision, a broadcast television. I wonder what they would call a device like that. I don't know. That's none of my business. But look at us now. We're all sitting here believing the tripe that they're feeding us and completely ignoring ourselves. And what do? We have arguments with people who refuse to take a look at anything. We have arguments with people who want to name call. You're a bigot. Oh, God, you're a Trump supporter. Oh, you're an anti-masker. Of course I'm an anti-masker. I don't want a diaper on my face. Am I allowed to talk about that? No, I am not. Am I shadow banned all over the place because I have crazy opinions that don't go along with the mainstream narrative? Yes, matter of fact, I am. If you're hearing this now, that's amazing. That's what I'm saying, like against all odds. Word of mouth spreads. This broadcast, telepodcast, I don't know. So what's going on with these fires? What's the intent of these fires? I don't know what the end game is with this, but if it's anything like what we just witnessed and what we just lived through, we're going to need you to stay in your houses. It's safer for you to stay in your houses. See, before they used it for fear, an invisible enemy that was killing grandma. And statistically, all of these things are lies. More people died in COVID from not being granted access to the hospitals for their specific surgeries that they had. They had surgeries planned and they weren't allowed in. More people died from that than COVID. COVID, statistically now that the numbers are coming out, was the flu. And none of us are really surprised, right? But what did the television do? Well, it set this It cast a broad message that we need to be living in fear. What's this other thing doing now? These forest fires? We haven't had 21 forest fires in Ontario in the past 20 years combined. That might not be true. I don't know. Fact check me. I feel like I should press a button. Is it this one?
Disclaimer. If you're going to soundbite any of this podcast, you must soundbite it in its entirety for consistency and context.
Yeah, man. So these forest fires, they're everywhere. And you're seeing all this footage of these fires being set. And then you're seeing all these people defend the forest fires. Well, those are just mainline fires. They're designed to hold the fire back. Well, we're going to hold it back. Now, I have a lot of firefighter friends. Not a lot, but enough. And I've seen how these things work. And that's not it. When was the last time you saw a drone shooting fire to protect a fire? But then there's those people who adamantly want to believe that. They get angry. And you got to ask yourself, this brings you back to the Matrix quote. Some of these people are so enamored with the Matrix, with the system, that they will fight tooth and nail to defend it. And I guess that's the thing. And what I've experienced from conversations with people that I know is anyone that has nothing going on in their lives, that have no real true purpose, they latch on to fucked up things. They latch on to crazy ideologies, and they want to fight you, and they want to call you names, and they want to make sure that you know you're a piece of shit. Because you challenged the narrative. Because by not wearing a mask, you killed grandma. Because that's what I'm latching onto. Because I've done nothing with my life. So much so that I have to make you the villain for not wearing a mask. Because do you know how easy it is to wear a mask? The craziest, overweight, most unhealthy people in the entire world, smoking a pack a day, drinking a case of beer, eating all the McDonald's they can get their hands on. These are the people wearing masks still. And I'm not out here publicly shaming anyone. I'm just saying, as an observation, these are the people that are saying, I've done nothing with my life. I fucked up. It's all in the back of their head. I'm doing nothing with my life, so I'm going to latch onto this as something to be self-righteous about. I'm going to say, yeah, I know I didn't eat well, and yeah, I know I lost my leg to diabetes, but I'm wearing this mask, and fuck you for not wearing yours. Right? All of a sudden, they're the heroes. And it's cool. We all have our lives to live. We all live the way we want to live. We all create what we want to create. We are, at the end of the day, the culmination of all of the effort that we've put into everything. So anyone that says you can't have something, or for you to say to yourself, I can't have something, I can't be something, I can't do something, you're 100% right. Whatever it is you tell yourself makes you 100% accurate. So why are you telling yourself one thing or the other? Why do you want to fight? Why do people want to pick fights? Why is it the free thinkers and the ones looking for answers and solutions that are constantly under attack? Constantly name called? Right? The tides are turning right now because a lot of people are like, well, maybe there's something to this quote unquote conspiracy. Anyway, back to the point at hand. These forest fires are smoking out a lot of people, right? And forest fires create climate change. Not only that, but how many times have you heard about Bill Gates blocking out the sun? You know, small sample areas. These these fires are, I haven't seen the sun in days, but I've tasted the smoke. I'm constantly thirsty. Another crazy thing too is prior to this, especially where I am, I'm in Toronto, Canada. Toronto, not the 6. I'm not shutting out the Drake, even though I just did by saying that. I'm not doing it, but look at that. You've just done it. In Toronto, we've got this other thing. I don't know if you guys have noticed this or if anyone has allergies. There are a lot of allergy problems. More people now have been suffering more greatly this year than ever before from the allergies. I don't suffer from allergies, thankfully, but I have noticed that there is a constant yellow coating, dusting, I would say pollen, on my car every morning. And I have a black as midnight car, black pearl. So it's very easy to see the yellow pollen. And it's on there profusely. If it's on there, it's on everything. If it's on everything, it's on everything that we're breathing in. So you guys should get out there and put your masks on. I don't know. I don't think those masks will filter any of that shit. Let alone a microscopic virus. Hell. Man. Merde. It's wild. So what's with all the pollen? What's with all the fires? What's with the lack of oxygen? How long will this last? I don't know. So again, this is a speculation. You guys are just, we're all along for the ride here. We're just hanging out. This is just a light, easy peasy, easy breezy, beautiful cover girl podcast. This is an homage, a thank you to the Iron Sheik for everything he's done. And this is a question period. I have questions, but I'm telling you, I sense something up. I sense incoming restrictions. They're going to sample it and test it on us. And then you're going to see other stuff catch fire. I just don't understand how the government can go on record and say, we're not going to be able to maintain these fires. Meanwhile, all they're supposed to do is maintain those fires. At what point are we able to just sort of back away from the government and be like, yo, guys, like seriously, fuck oof. Just go. Just beat it. Like, I'm done with your garbage. I'm done with your tripe. I don't care for any of this crap. And that's it. You see the price hikes going on here, the prime mortgage, the prime rates, everything's going up 25 basis points this morning. At what point do hard-earning, hard-working Canadians just be like, you know what, I'm done with this joint. They're setting my country on fire. They're smoking me out. They're forcing me out financially. They're creating crazy pollen in the air. I don't even know what that's all about, but I know it's something. There's something tied into that. These are the dots that I'm connecting now loudly and audibly with you guys. At what point do we just say, I'm done with this? Off to Costa Rica I go. And then, of course, you'll hear everybody else say, well, it's no better anywhere else. Well, I don't know that. All I know is I'm uncomfortable here. And the idea of moving somewhere else inside my mind is ultra uncomfortable as well, because everybody or every piece of information that we understand makes us believe that it's difficult to go somewhere, right? Our influence says, don't try, don't move, don't do anything. Just sit around. Live in your 15-minute cities, shut the fuck up, and don't do anything. This is what the media is pushing down our throats. I'm like, why? Why would I want to do any of that? Like, why can't I just get up and go? These lives that we've built, obviously we've got families and this, that, and the other thing. But if you think about it, every single one of your beliefs, unless challengeable, is a limiting belief. So every single thing that you think that you're doing here and that you think that you absolutely have to have in the prison sentence that we're in. Actually, I want to say, I'm going to share something real quick too about there is a fellow that I came across, and he's talking about dictionary and what words mean and what binding means. And this is what I'm talking about with regards to how it is that we can, I don't know, believe in how we're locked into something. I can't leave because I've got my job. I can't do this because of something else. It's all this sort of stuff to me is like, it's entrapment. I mean, it sounds weird for me to say that, our English language is entrapment. Let me see if I can play this. Bear with me for a second here, ladies and gentlemen.
The thing to have is a Black's Law dictionary. It's about this thick. This is the dictionary that the lawyers use, and it has legal definitions of words in it. And when you use it to look up words, you find out really interesting stuff. Person, the word person. The definition of person is a corporate fiction. Black's Law also tells us that the only person known to Canadian law is the corporation. And that's interesting. Human is another interesting word. It appears nowhere in the Bible, but you look up the definition of human in Black's Law, and it says sea monster. And so you flip to monster and you look up the definition for monster, and it says one that cannot own or inherit property. Now, all governments have human resource departments, and all corporations have human resource departments. Isn't that interesting? Job is another interesting definition. Job is defined as public business for private dishonest gain is the definition of job. And then we look at employ, the root word of employment, right? Well, employ is two words basically, E-M, which means for. Employ is deceit. So employ is for deceit. Employment, it's for deceit. And job is official, that's it. Job is official public business for private dishonest gain. Now, where are we going with all these definitions? Because they sound kind of bad to me. Those words, now that I know what they really mean, those words don't sound good. They sound bad to me. Well, we know that to get a job, you need a SIN. You need a social insurance number, or you can't get a job. You can't be employed. Well, now that I know what a job means, and now that I know what employ means, I don't really know if I want either of those things.
Ain't that something? You need a SIN. You need a SIN number to get a job or be employed. That to me is the ultimate distraction. Job, work, monotonous tasks for some other entity to do something. That's not to say I'm a socialist or I'm this or I'm that or things don't need to get done. I firmly believe things need to get done. I firmly believe there are a lot of people on this planet that need to do the things that need to get done. But I also believe that there are a massive group of people that don't want to do that. And what I mean by that are not that they're not meant to do that. I'm not meant to do that. I'm meant to take my car to a mechanic. And I'm super thankful that there are mechanics out there. Back in the day, I could fix some stuff. Back when the engine was actually under the hood, as opposed to a giant piece of plastic that you plug into a computer. I don't know any of that. Now, I suppose I could know some of that, right? If it was a priority to me, I could go figure that out. And then if it were really good, then I could charge people. In other words, not have a job or go somewhere, but, not charge somebody $800 to have their engine tweaked when you could do it for here the price of the parts. But I'm saying somebody needs to make the manufacture the parts and all that sort of stuff. So every single layer of everything, there's a reason and purpose for it all. And wherever you stand in there, those who are awake, those who are waking up, those who are seeing stuff, those who are going through their elevations, those who are doing whatever they want to do, every single person who's experiencing exactly what they want to experience, if it's not for you and if you become hyper aware of the illusion of being busy work, and you want to do something else, there's an answer for you out there. There's always an answer out there to get done what you need to get done. And that's what's important. That you live this world, that you have that experience. That you do what you know you're supposed to be doing, as opposed to doing what they told you to do. And then when you get past that too, you're like, well, who is the they that I keep referring to? The only reason that we have these trials and tribulations, these challenges, is because it's the thing that we need to overcome. Everything that you hate in your life exists so that you can change it and grow from it, which is kind of cool, which makes you be thankful for that sort of stuff. So back to these forest fires. I don't know what's going on, but I'm telling you right now, this smells smoky and fishy. Something's up. Something's up and they're going to do something. So I'm expecting some incoming mandates pretty soon. And if we get them, I'm tapping us back to episode 258, I think we're on, to talk about it. That's the thing. And in honor of the Iron Sheik, ladies and gentlemen, in the infamous words of the Iron Sheik, Hulk Hogan, go fuck yourself.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. Stay connected with us directly through the mentalmasteryalliance.com. You can also join the discussion on Instagram at instagram.com/the Mental Mastery Alliance. Let the team know you're listening by using the hashtag TMMA or tagging us at the Mental Mastery Alliance. To have your voice heard on the show, leave a voicemail or send a text to 647-338-1265. Long distance charges may apply. If you love us, leave us a review. If you hate us, you spend your time in weird ways, but also leave a review. Every review on iTunes tickles the algorithm, helping us grow. Until next time, unity over division. This concludes the most surreal portion of your day.
You got it, Pontiac.